till the count of 5.
Alright guys, what's up? Justin here, back for another episode of the podcast, Till the Count of 5. To my left, my co-host.
What's up, Pablo?
That was really
Long
energetic.
time no see, guys.
Yeah, we took a brief week hiatus. I got my wisdom teeth cut out, so we had to postpone. I didn't want to sound loopy on the podcast.
So now he's dumber.
Yeah. And I don't have all my teeth anymore, guys. I'm pretty much a Canadian.
Blame Canada.
Yeah.
Anyway, so been a little while. Hope everybody's doing good. So let's just go straight to the biggest thing going on right now, and that is our boy Conor, the Irish Killer McGregor,
The animal.
the animal. The animal. It's just all you had to do was see the new press conference. If you haven't heard, which you should have by now, like when you listen to this Wednesday, if you've not heard by now, then you're dead to the world.
Yeah, you're in the dark.
Rafael dos Anjos, or however you say it, the Brazilian champion, who is going to defend his title against Conor.
Yeah, he broke his foot, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miraculously.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I've seen the pictures. It is broke, but it's convenient.
Yeah, it's this close. Like,
Same thing that Aldo did. Yeah. So nobody knew what was going to happen. They decided they needed to find a new person for Conor to fight because Conor insisted he was still fighting. I reckon, Frankie Edgar wanted to fight him. Faber wanted to fight him. Cerrone wanted to fight him.
yeah.
And in the end, I think it worked out better for everyone. Like, I'm so excited. I know you're not a fan of him.
I think Cerrone would have been the better fight.
No,
personally.
I'm telling you, this fight will be better than the Dos Anjos fight would have been. We have Conor versus Nate Diaz. Okay, if y'all heard that, that would be my animals.
Yeah,
So,
that was like a damn stampede that just came through here all at once.
I have a pack of wolves. A pack of wolves in my house. Anyway, back to the point. Now we got Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. It's going to be entertaining as hell.
Yeah, the thing about this is, like, Nate is insane. And, like, he's already just been spitting
The
out.
whole family is insane.
Like, it's like, okay, you got Conor McGregor over here. He's being normal Conor McGregor, talking trash, doing whatever. And then, like, the whole Diaz family all at once just said, like, oh, yeah, we all hate Conor McGregor now.
It was great though. Like, you need to go Google the press conference, YouTube it, whatever. Go find the unedited version if you can, because oh my god, there was like simultaneous middle fingers going up the whole time, and like just random comments from Nate Diaz. Just come out and accused and said
He accused, like, the whole
UFC
yeah.
and Conor McGregor of being on steroids, and Conor McGregor's answer to that was absolutely amazing.
This dude replies and says he's not on steroids, he's just a pure animal. Like, the meanest thing you could possibly say.
Like, it was so good, and it was just random screaming, and it's so awesome. And I know a lot of people don't like either one of them, but whatever. I'm so want to see this fight even more now than I did the Dos Anjos fight.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Dos Anjos fight, I was only watching because I wanted Conor to win, and I wanted to see Conor. Now
it's going to be a shit show.
like, legitimately, there could be a gang war breakout in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
The Irish family versus the Diaz family.
Yeah. Also, we didn't write this down. I just remember this. Did you see the Dada 5000 Kimbo fight?
Oh my god. You cannot.
If you wanna call it a
I was going to
fight.
say, you cannot call that a fight. I don't even know what the hell you call that. It was so bad.
And apparently the whole time their trainers, like, in the gym, they were like, yeah, they've been working really hard on their cardio, and, like, they've been really going.
But did you see where Dada 5000 or what?
He was in critical condition.
Okay, his family comes out and they said it's because of his weight cut.
Yeah.
They said, like, in the last, like, I don't know, however long, he lost like 40 or 50 pounds. I'm like, dude needed to lose, like, and I'm fat, don't get me wrong. But this dude, I'm not getting in there against Kimbo Slice on national TV. I mean, you can say it was a knockout, and I know Kimbo got the win, but I mean, how do you get a knockout win if nobody ever gets punched when the guy just fell down because I mean He couldn't breathe.
Tired. He
couldn't breathe anymore. He needed a cheeseburger.
Like I like the Bellator, and I think they've done well, but this put them back so
Oh my god!
far.
And they put so much into it. They built this up in Kimbo and Dada, and there was this whole who's going to run the streets because they were big street.
Yeah, because I remember even watching the documentary. Dada's like, oh yeah, I can't fight in the ring. They say I got stone hands. I'll kill someone if I get in there.
Oh my god!
And this dude passes out on the mat because he can't even move.
He's got stone hands with a damn balloon beach ball in his stomach. I mean, it was so bad. And then to make matters worse, they put a lot of money into promoting that, and then the main event, Shamrock versus Gracie.
Yeah.
And granted, they're both old. We knew going into it they're both way, way too old to really be fighting, or even in the ring. But it was, they had the name value, and you're like, well, it's going to be a pretty good war amongst for some older guys. It's nothing like you're going to see with Connor and Diaz or nothing, but it should have been entertaining, and it was terrible.
The whole event just flopped.
However, and you had if you don't know, Gracie got the win over Shamrock, but if you watched it, it was very controversial.
Yeah.
Because if you watched, he did knee him right in the balls.
Yeah, he did, and it looked like it was on purpose.
It did look like it was on purpose. So Shamrock took one to the Shamrocks, and he went down, and the referee basically stopped the fight.
Yeah.
And declared Gracie the winner, and Shamrock was a little pissed, but yeah. So that was Bellator for you.
Yeah, we didn't have that wrote down, but I just remembered how terrible that was.
I'm not even we gave it a little bit of time, but I can't give it any more time.
That's all the time that the Bellator gets. That was terrible.
Oh my god! I don't I like Bellator. I hope they do good, but
they got to do stuff different.
They better blow something out of the water next, because Kimbo and Dada. They sunk the ship.
Yeah.
But so definitely looking forward to the Conor fight, getting back to the UFC thing. And then some of the big other UFC news this past week and a half, 2 weeks, is Ronda Rousey coming out talking about she was basically ready to commit suicide after losing to Holly Holm.
Yeah, and she said she'd been in a couple talk shows since then, and pretty much said it wasn't something that she was dwelling on. She wasn't contemplating it for weeks or anything. It wasn't prolonged, but she said in the locker room after the fight she thought about killing herself, and she said the reason was because no one was going to see her the same. She thought she was at the top, and now that she wasn't, she was just going to disappear, which obviously isn't true. I mean, that's a bold, really
she's
bold
still,
thing to say.
It's not because you look at her now, she's not just a UFC fighter.
No,
she's transcendent. She's there may be women that come up that we're gonna say, well, man, they may be better than Ronda Rousey, but she's the pioneer for that whole thing, bringing it to the UFC. Icon. Well, Dana White said he would never have women fight in UFC till he saw Ronda Rousey fight, and then he's like, oh shit, I can make some money now.
Yeah.
And I liked Rousey. I hated that she lost, but
and Brock Lesnar came out and in an interview type thing is kind of like an opening up to Ronda and said, you just have to learn how to lose. And I think that's really true. I understand she was at the top of her game and best at her sport and all this stuff, but you can't have one loss and think that's the end of the world.
But, it is a hard thing to do because, she really hasn't lost.
Yeah.
And, she even won, third place in the Olympics or something?
Yeah, something
for
like that.
judo
something
or
crazy.
Something.
Yeah.
She's won her whole life.
And I don't think you can put all of it on her. I think, Dana and, her training staff and all that, they put her on such a pedestal that they didn't think it was possible for her to lose.
Yeah, no. Dana and them definitely, they had built that monster up so big that when it did explode, which it did, that it was going to just crumble right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I feel sorry for her if you watch it. You can tell she's really...
Oh, yeah, she's emotional.
And she's honest about it. She's not doing this to make, excuses or to get the pitiful thing. She really is. This is what she went through, which she's filming a movie now. So, she was going to take some time off anyway after that fight. But, now you got Holly Holm's going to defend the title against Miesha Tate. And basically Dana said whoever wins the fight, they're going to face Ronda Rousey later this year.
Yeah.
And, she's filming Roadhouse 2, which if you've seen Roadhouse 1, pretty good flick.
Should be exceptional.
Yeah, for an 80s movie.
Yeah.
pretty good.
Kind of crazy to think that the sequel is, 30, 40 years afterwards?
Yeah, and it goes from, Patrick Swayze to Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Both good-looking women.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the UFC stuff this week. You got the big fight coming up Saturday. Nate Diaz and Connor. And I think the women's match is Saturday too, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it Saturday?
I'm not sure.
It may be. So, check it out. It gives you, a title fight plus something that could turn into like the Pacers Pistons going up in the stands brawling. Because
God, we hope so.
Oh, it will be so good. Like, I can't wait. So, anyway, we need to talk about Smoky Mountain.
Yeah,
NWA Smoky Mountain.
You got to attend the last show. I was doing Valentine stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm married now. I don't have to worry about that shit. My wife knows I love her. Anyway, so it's a good show. NWA Smoky Mountain had Encore was the last show. It was pretty good. Pretty good crowd showed up. So the first match, we had Skylar Cruz, Sean Schultz, two guys who can really go, and it's good for a first match.
Yeah.
Like for those two guys to open up, good match. Skylar Cruz got the win over Sean Schultz. Just kind of a solid first opening match. Skylar's kind of getting a little bit of the push, and Sean Schultz, guys, like he's legit. You can find him. He's worked with TNA, some other people. Sean Schultz he's a pro.
He's a real deal.
Yeah, like he's legit pro. He's a professional, and he comes out and you can tell. And plus, the dude has a body that's like he works out constantly.
Yeah.
Then you had the Heat Seekers and Wild Bill versus Chaos. 6-man tag with a little bit of crazy, just wild stuff going on. Heat Seekers and Wild Bill get the win with Elliott doing a finishing maneuver, and then Wild Bill and Sigmund coming off dual headbutts off the top rope.
Dang.
Pretty nice little finish. Of course, you have the toilet paper with Jeff Conley for Chaos when he came out, which is always fun.
And will continue happening.
Yes. Not that we're doing it, but
we're advocates.
We have it on good authority that the toilet paper will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Then you had a TV title match between Axton Ray, the 18-year-old phenom, still in high school, going on to try and challenge for the TV championship held by picture-perfect Jordan Cage. And this match was extended. Normal TV time minutes, 10 minutes. It was extended to 15 minutes this time to give Axton Ray an even playing field because they had a draw at one of the last shows. And basically, Axton Ray was, I know we're Jordan Cage and Dylan Sizemore fans. Axton Ray was probably getting ready to win the TV title, and there may have been some shenanigans where Dylan Sizemore may have went over and rang the bell to try and end the match.
The shenanigans that we spoke about in the last podcast actually came through.
Yes, they did, and get it short and sweet, Jordan got disqualified since Dylan had rang the bell. Henceforth, Axton Ray wins the match, but as everybody knows, disqualifications means the title does not change hands.
Smart plays from someone who will be our next NWA president.
Yes, make wrestling great again.
Yeah.
Vote Sizemore, 2016. Then, this is the match before intermission, and I'm just going to go out here and tell you, this match was awesome. Chase Owens versus John Schuyler. Crown Jewel versus Southern Savior. Dude, I hate you missed this match.
Yeah, I'm still upset about it.
Like, it was so good. It was amazing. Watching those two go at each other, and it was probably a good, I would say 25 minutes.
Really?
They went at it probably. Really, really good match with both of them getting maneuvers where you thought the match was over.
Yeah.
Submissions, everything. I mean, anything you could ask for, they did and pulled it off. And Chase Owens wound up, he hit the spinning elbow, and
I thought you were going to surprise me, and somehow he got a pile driver.
No, we still the package pile driver is still outlawed per NWA Smoky Mountain rules.
Yeah.
Please vote that down. Anyway, Chase gets the win over John Schuyler in a great, great match. And went to intermission. After intermission, we had the Giants of Gehenna Chris Richards and Travis Lee, who are the United States NWA Smoky Mountain United States Tag Team Champions, defending the titles, and it was supposed to be against Nick Hammonds and Ali Shabazz.
Mm-hmm.
Ali Shabazz was actually hurt on Friday night before the show at another wrestling show, and was unable to participate. And so Nick came out, and he actually brought out a surprise partner, which was actually Skylar Cruz from the earlier match. And
really?
Skylar, he's a multi-tag team champion. So Nick and Skylar took on the Giants, and it was a pretty good little match back and forth. It was surprising. I mean, they held their own with the Giants. The Giants did wind up winning. After the match, though, the Giants continued to beat up on Nick and Skylar, and miraculously, somebody comes running down to the ring. I haven't told you about this, I don't think. He made a surprise appearance back now, apparently. And so...
Is this what I think it is?
It may be. Gavin Daring came back, and if you don't know, Gavin and Skylar used to be a tag team. And Gavin kind of...
Is Air America back?
He stuck the knife in Skylar's back, and he come out with the little hoodie on and stuff. And he had a chair, chased the Giants off, and Skylar and him acted like they were going to fight. And Gavin throws down the chair, unzips the jacket, and there we go. He's got an Air America shirt on.
So Air America's back.
So Skylar Cruz winds up taking the shirt, other shirt that Gavin had, and put it on. And now, the multi-time tag team champions, Air America, is back in NWA Smoky Mountain.
Dang. Are we gonna see an Air America and Giants matchup?
Hold on, let's get through this one.
Okay,
then we're gonna talk about the next show, which is very, very intriguing. I know some of it'll be over by the time y'all hear this, but you definitely need to hear this for some stuff you got to find out. After that, so we got Air America back. Then we have the NWA World Heavyweight Title match. Jax Dane, Toby Farley. You know what? This match still delivered. It was great. Back and forth. Toby really held his own. Like, it was really impressive.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about missing that match as well.
That was
I feel like I felt the earthquakes happening.
Yeah. They hit each other a couple times to where I felt like you would feel it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, Dylan actually tried to cheat. Toby wouldn't let him. Toby told him no, he wasn't going to win like that.
Well, dang.
I think Toby we may be getting a face turn. That's a spoiler alert just for some of y'all. He may be turning face, and I could see him and Dylan maybe splitting.
I'm kind of upset about that.
I know. It's very upsetting. Anyway, I will tell you this. Jax won by putting a submission move on Toby. Toby did not tap out. Toby passed out.
Oh, damn.
So it was Toby technically never gave up, never pinned, never surrendered. He literally just couldn't continue because he was unconscious.
That's crazy.
So, and there was a little contention afterwards between Dylan and Toby, so we'll see what happens going forward. But for now, they walked out together. Not happily, but they walked out together. And then we had the main event, which was Vince Brent, the modern-day outlaw, as he's going by now. I like the Prodigy better.
Yeah.
Just because I came up with it.
Yeah.
I won a contest, and I came up with that one, so this is my one time to gloat. The Prodigy was better. Anyway, I'm just playing a little bit. He fought the Gift, Jason Kincaid, the leader of the Cabal, the master of the Giants of Gehenna.
Someone who I am more and more every time he fights becoming a bigger fan now that he is heel.
Yeah, dude, Jason is great. And like I said before, go look up Jason Kincaid. Like, it's amazing. Just the stuff he does and the stuff that you would never think of and he does. Like, go watch here. I'll give you the match right now. Go find Jason Kincaid versus Leo Rush from the Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament. And if you can just find the highlights, it's enough. You'll be sold on Jason Kincaid. Anyway, this was some really crazy stuff that happened in it. I don't know if you know about this either.
I probably don't.
We have not talked. So Jason and Vince went back and forth. I mean, first of it was all over the arena, over in the concession stand.
Really?
Jason picked up a stroller and hit him with somebody's stroller at some point.
Oh my God.
It was great. It was awesome. They even hit each other with like Coke cans. And Coke went everywhere. It was crazy. Some little kid was crying because he lost his Mountain Dew. So anyway, they go back and forth. Then they went for a long time too, and it got to a point where Vince hit a couple of his finishers, and it kind of looked like Vince may be getting ready to pull the upset. Once again, Jason has a card in his back pocket, and music starts playing again. The little carnival music, the evil carnival music, which is awesome. You see 3 figures come walking out, and it's the two. You can tell it's the 2 giants under their hoods and their little ropes. Yeah. And at first you think there's somebody else that's leading them out there. Not the case. Actually, what it was their ropes that are tied around their necks or whatever are tied around that person's wrist, and they're walking that person out there. And so they bring her out to the middle of the aisle, take the mask off, and it is actually Vince Brent's real-life girlfriend.
Really?
Yes.
That's insane.
It was so cool. So obviously they have her, the Giants have her. Vince freaks out. Vince goes running down the aisle, tries to save her. Obviously, Vince, who's a great wrestler, but him versus the 2 giants.
A mere mortal.
Yes, a mere mortal. And he had no stones to cast.
Yeah.
He starts getting beat up. They bring him back to the ring, and they proceed to... Cool move. The Giants grab him for like the double choke slam.
Yeah.
Jason does the backcracker with the choke slam at the same time.
That's
so
crazy.
Cool. They keep working on Vince, and they're going to do the whole where they hold him.
Oh, God.
And he was going to do the stomps again.
Yeah.
And she jumped in the ring to try and stop him. And Jason kind of got in her face and was kind of acting like, he's going to steal a little kiss or something, and talking about how much he was in love with her now and all this because Jason's psychotic. And about that time, you have... Nick Hammond's come out. So Nick comes out. He tries to help. Basically, he starts getting beat up. Then Air America, newly formed Air America, comes back out. We have a daggone Pier 6 brawl. Obviously, Vince is laid out.
Yeah.
His girlfriend's over checking on him. Nick and Jason have kind of paired off. Air America and the Giants have paired off. The Giants and Air America fight to the back. Jason kind of does something to Nick. Nick he starts leaving. Jason wants his belt in the ring, and finally they bring his belt to him, and he's screaming and all this other stuff. And about that time, something great happens. And our guy, like I hear people start yelling and screaming. That's about the time Jason Kincaid turns around in the middle of the ring, and face to face with Jason Kincaid is Chase Owens.
Oh, God.
So we have the face-off. The 2 guys that have basically put NWA Smoky Mountain on the map, kind of. I mean, they've carried this feud, this rivalry from state to state. They fought over probably hundreds of times. They kind of come to a head a little bit, and this is one time where that look in Jason's eye is not the same confident look as it always is. Because I think he finally... realizes Chase is on the same playing field as Jason is, and those 2, like, you need to go look up matches they've had. And
some of them are just the best wrestling you've ever seen.
Yeah, and so basically then Tony Givens, the promoter, gets on the microphone, and this is how I'm going to lead you to what I told you about. You need to pay attention about, because the next show is March 24th. They are going to do, actually, any kids that are K through 12 get in for free. Because that's the first day of spring break for over there where they do their shows at. But this is going to be like the fans pay-per-view. You can go on there, and like the first one is already done, which we're going to get to. He's going to make choices for who you want to see defend, who you want to see take on the champions. Every title will be defended that night. So the first one that he announced during this whole process of everybody being out there is Jason Kincaid will face one of 3 options. And you had to go online and vote. This one's already over, so I'll tell you who won in a minute. The choices to face Jason Kincaid March 24th were Nick Hammonds, who deserves a rematch probably. Yeah. Vince Brent, who's legitimately had Jason beat him once in a tag match and probably had him beat the other night.
Yeah.
Or Chase Owens, who's not had a shot at Jason since 2014.
Yep.
So good choices. Jason kind of, looking at Tony like, I don't know how much I really like this. So long story short, we've been doing the voting. Tony put it up on NWA Smoky Mountain. You can go to their website. And we had the vote. And your main event now for March 24th, the Kingsport Civic Auditorium, is the Showdown. Not happened since 2014 in NWA Smoky Mountain. Jason Kincaid versus Chase Owens for the NWA Southeastern Heavyweight title.
This is going to be a match you do not want to miss.
These guys have fought everywhere. When I say everywhere, I'm talking TNA. I'm talking Texas, Canada, anywhere that they've both been. West Virginia, Ohio, anywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere they went, these two have found themselves eventually going head to head, because there is that rivalry and that who's going to be better on which night.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, it's went back and forth, both of them. And to tell you how good they are, March the 24th in Kingsport, that title is on the line at NWA Smoky Mountain's event. The next Saturday, or actually, I think it's actually before the Saturday. It's the next Thursday, because the show is on a Thursday. I forgot to mention that. March 24th is a Thursday.
Yep.
The next Thursday in Texas at the Parade of Champions show for NWA Wrestling, there's some other matches, and it's not the main event. But they have requested NWA Wrestling. I don't think it's for the title. You're going to have Chase Owens versus Jason Kincaid again 1 week later.
Yeah, which is going to be absolutely incredible.
So that's the one match we know right now. I know there's another one up right now where, to give you your question, the Giants of Gehenna will defend their tag titles against 3 choices. The Hardliners, Jeff Conley and Brian Montgomery. The Heat Seekers, Sigmund and Elliot Russell. Or the newly reformed Air America, Gavin Daring and Skylar Cruz. Last time I looked, looks like Air America's coming back and going to get the title.
And that even before, saying what I said, like Air America beforehand, before they broke up, they were, really, really big crowd favorite. A lot of people liked them. I might have left them hanging on a few high fives every now and then. But, solid tag team, solid competitors, fans love them.
And they go well together.
Yeah, they do.
They mesh together really well. They kind of remind you, because they're not real big guys. They remind you back to the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, Rockers, those kind of tag teams who, they weren't the biggest guys always, but they were just so fluid and working together and just make a good tag team.
And since seeing them, in the coming months and whatnot, I've gained a ton of respect for both guys.
I think the split was good for them. It helped both of them mature into better wrestlers and what they are now.
Yeah, I agree.
And if that's going to be the match, which like I said, it looked like it was going to be, there's nothing wrong with that match.
Yeah,
that will be a great match. Granted, the Giants are huge, but they actually have less experience as a tag team together than Air America, which you can't say a lot. As far as some other matches, obviously Toby Farley's going to defend the Mountain Empire title. I know 2 of the choices. Who 2 of the choices will be? I don't know who the third is yet. 2 of the choices will be Nick Hammonds or Vince Brent, because they lost out on the main event match. And
as much as I like both of those guys, that would be a hard mountain to climb if either one of them wins. Yeah. Toby is on. I know he lost to Jax, but Toby is on such a rise right now and such a hot streak that he's dangerous to anybody right now. And I don't know that anybody, especially after losing to Jax but never tapping or anything, just passing out, I don't know that anybody wants to feel the wrath of what Toby Farley's going to pull. As far as some other matches, obviously Jordan Cage is going to defend his title. Other than that, we'll see what all's on the card. Give you a little update. The show after that one is one of their big shows. It's the Smoky Mountain Cup. It's around April 16th, I think. Already named for the Smoky Mountain Cup right now is actually this match I told you about a minute ago to go watch. We're going to have a rematch
of the Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament match of Leo Rush and Jason Kincaid in the first round. That's the only first round match we know right now. We do, however, know a few more participants. We have Timmy Lou Retton. So I know the name is going to throw you off, and when you see him, it's going to throw you off. He is a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah.
He doesn't look special necessarily. You're going to think he looks fruity a little bit. I'm telling you, this dude's doing corkscrew punches and stuff off the top, splits, and he's not a little guy. Kyle Matthews, good guy. International star, traveled, was a former Southern States Wrestling Champion over here. Really good guy. Then we also have Jimmy Rave.
Yeah.
Who, if you know how Jimmy Rave, he was the Rock and Rave infection or whatever in TNA. He's been in TNA, Ring of Honor. And I'll just tell you, we're pushing, because I don't even know if Jeff Conley's in the Smoky Mountain Cup yet, because we don't know the other 7 spots yet. We want Jeff Conley and we want Jimmy Rave in the battle of the toilet paper kings.
We need a toilet paper death match between these two men.
It is a toilet paper death match, and every fan who listens to this from Smoky Mountain, I'm begging you, bring toilet paper. If that match gets announced, and I'm begging you, Tony, I'm begging you, if you listen to this, Tony Gibbons, I'm literally begging you, put those two in the first round match, because it's going to look like a toilet paper factory exploding.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it will be so good.
And again, not that we're the ones doing it.
No, not that we're the ones doing it.
But we're advocating. We're telling you to do it.
And
so the blame's not on us.
And for anybody that doesn't know, go look up Jimmy Rave toilet paper. Go to YouTube, watch a video, and you'll understand why we said this. Okay? But that's going to be a big show. Couple others. There's a big time wrestling show. It's actually coming up March 20-something, I think, like 26th. It's like one of these kind of promotions that bring older guys, veteran guys there. They're going to have like Gangrel from WWE, leader of the Brood, and had Christian and Edge. He's going to be there. Buff Bagwell, Buff the Stuff Bagwell is going to be there. Let's see, you got the main event for that show. I mean, it's some older guys, but hey, some of them can still go. Plus, it's a cage match. It's going to be a cage match pitting the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, taking on the Powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian, with Jim Cornette managing the Powers of Pain.
Which we are Jim Cornette fans.
Jim Cornette is the man. Like, Jim Cornette, when we met him at the Global Force Wrestling Show, was single-handedly the best person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, one of the coolest people I've met, not just in wrestling, just in general. Jim, Thunder Buddy for life.
Yeah, he signed, like, I had my Ted shirt, Thunder Buddy for life t-shirt on, and he started calling me Thunder Buddy, and I actually bought his book about the Midnight Express to him, which is a great book. Like, it's awesome. And he autographed it for me and actually wrote "To My Thunder Buddy."
Sung the song with us.
Yes, sung the song. And I'm not talking about, he didn't edit out anything either.
No.
Like, he made us seem like choir boys, okay? Yeah. Like, it was awesome. But, anyway, so you got them, and then, I don't think he's wrestling, but the big guy that they're bringing, Kevin Nash, who was supposed to be at the last show they did here, and he got sick and couldn't make it. Kevin Nash is coming back to the Tri-Cities, and, Big Sexy coming back. We may make our way there. We're not decided yet. But we'll see. Pretty good little show, though. You can go see, meet some of the older guys, see them in action a little bit. Yeah. There'll be some other wrestlers there. Also, then, we get to May. I know it's a little ways off. We're going to go ahead and tell you about some May shows. NWA Smoky Mountain on May the 7th is having Collision Course. I guess this will be 11 because 10 was last year and 10 was awesome.
10 was amazing.
10 was the best live show I've ever been to.
Yeah, same.
Anyway, we've talked about it before. Collision Course 11. We don't know matchups yet, but we do know 2 people that are going to be there. One we had already talked about, I think, a little bit. X-Pac, D-Generation X, 6 from NWO, 123 Kid if you're old school. Whatever you want to call him. 6, X-Pac. X-Pac will be in Kingsport, Tennessee on May the 7th. We don't know who he's going to fight.
But he is fighting. He
is fighting. You will have a chance, I guess, to meet him too. But he is fighting on that card. Now, some bigger news, well, not bigger, I won't say, but some more news coming from that event just announced this week. former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, and now recently signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar, Unbreakable, Michael Elgin.
Which is going to be insane.
Dude is a powerhouse and can powerbomb anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who's going to fight him. I know the consensus on the internet for who Tony kind of asked, who do you want to see Michael Elgin fight? Pretty well the consensus has been, and I know you're ready for this, Michael Elgin, Toby Farley.
Yeah, that's the matchup that I have in my head. And I've had it since that announcement.
And I think that's,
I feel sorry for Toby Farley if he gets powerbombed, because Jesus.
Yo, yeah, like it's going to be so good. But that's the only thing we know right now. Michael Elgin and X-Pac will be in Kingsport on May the 7th at the Kingsport Civic Auditorium. You can buy your tickets now. We already have ours.
Yeah.
I think yesterday when he was talking about it, there was like 20 front row tickets left. That's it. And it also includes a meet and greet with the superstars before the show. So go check that out. Go to NWA Smoky Mountain Facebook website, NWASmokyMountain.com, and you can get tickets for that event. I think front row with the meet and greet, it's like $30 a piece. So that's not a bad deal, especially, you're going to get to see X-Pac, Michael Elgin. Plus, I'm sure you're going to see Chase Owens, Jason Kincaid, the whole litany of all the guys we can just name, Toby Farley. Should be a good show. I mean, I'm going to guarantee it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Then, just a little, I can't give you many details because I don't know them yet. Pro Wrestling South, which is another group up here, and they do regular shows, but they're also known for doing like some bigger shows, like where they just kind of bring in special attractions. I mean, they'll have their guys fight, but like they're known for bringing in the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is actually the PWS heavyweight champion, and he's also the current TNA heavyweight champion. But on May the 14th, the next Saturday after the big NWA Smoky Mountain show, we're going to see Matt Hardy is coming in already announced. And don't know who's fighting. Don't even know where this event's at yet.
No, still not a location.
All they've announced is these two people are going to be there. First one is Matt Hardy, the champion. Always good to see. Matt's a cool guy. He retweets people all the time. Retweeted us a couple times.
Yeah.
Then we also have WWE Hall of Famer, Road Warrior Animal from the legendary Road Warriors, Legion of Doom.
Which I'm super stoked just to meet him. I think that'd just be a cool experience. That was always one of my favorite tag teams growing up, and Dad was always a huge fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody, like they were the scary but cool.
Yeah.
And everybody liked them. Plus, they come out to Iron Man by Black Sabbath most of the time, too. So, when you hear Iron Man and Black Sabbath start playing and you see, like, these two gigantic men with spikes on shoulder pads and mohawks and stuff shaved in their head. I mean, they were cool. But those two guys are going to be there. I don't know details about anything. We'll keep you up to date on that. Obviously, it's a little ways off. As soon as they say something, the next show, we will definitely tell everybody.
As soon as we know more, we'll tell you guys more.
Yeah, because we're definitely going to, I'll tell you how good this show probably will be. My wife's birthday is May the 14th, and I've already asked for permission to go to this wrestling show, and she said I would probably get to go, so I'm going to take that as a yes. So, yeah, some big shows coming up, just keeping you up to date. You'll definitely see us around at some of them, and so, hopefully we'll see y'all there. Come talk to us. Like I said, some people probably know us already. Look for the guys with signs at the NWA Smoky Mountain shows, or you could probably just ask a few people. They're going to know who we are. But yeah, that's kind of going to wrap up a little bit of the wrestling for local stuff. Real quick, we're just going to hit on WWE for a minute. I don't want to get too far into it because we still got like 40 days till WrestleMania. But some big things that come out of this last pay-per-view, Fastlane. Nothing spectacular changed as far as a lot of the first matches. It was a decent little show. The main event, which was kind of the match, setting up what was going to happen, was pretty good, actually. I mean, everybody kind of knew Roman Reigns was probably going to win. It's going to be Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania. But for what it was, the match was actually better than I thought it would be. Like 2-3 minutes into the match, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose put Brock Lesnar through the announce table. So it was that was cool to watch. But Roman Reigns is going to main event WrestleMania versus Triple H. Also, on a side note about that, the match before that, or actually 2 matches before, but I ain't counting the whole like Heath Slater versus whoever. Truth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even. I don't even know if it was Heath Slater either. Like that was the bathroom break. But you had match number 3 between Chris Jericho and AJ Styles,
which is going to be phenomenal.
That
no
match
pun
was
intended.
awesome. That match was phenomenal. Like, go watch it because it was. I don't know if it was as good as the first one, but it's better than anything else that was there. And they had the little handshake afterwards. Hopefully, everybody's pulling for AJ to maybe take on Kevin Owens at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. That I would love to see AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens.
I would too.
I'm pulling for that match. Moving on to the next Monday night, which I actually have only seen bits and pieces of Raw. I actually haven't even watched it this week. You had a few shockers. You're going to have, obviously, you had Roman Reigns and Triple H kind of meet up at the end of the show. And Triple H actually, I mean, according to WWE, Roman Reigns has had to have surgery for a broken nose. And there was a lot of blood. Like, I'll be honest with you, from what I watched Monday night and from what I'm hearing, the product from now to WrestleMania is going to get a little edgier. Because, everybody's been bitching about it's too PG and they needed to adult it up, so to say. And so, we actually had a lot of blood at the end the other night, a little more violent. Like I said, the pay-per-view was a little more violent than usual. But probably the biggest thing coming from that, one, obviously we have Triple H and Roman Reigns as the main event at WrestleMania. Now we also have, because Brock Lesnar was a little pissed off, he attacked Dean Ambrose before Monday Night Raw. And so now, after they had another showdown during the show, we have Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a street fight.
Which is going to be absolutely insane, just because Brock Lesnar is just a human specimen. I mean, he's a monster.
Oh my, he is legitimately a beast.
Yeah, and this dude being that mad in a street fight, which seems like we haven't really seen that side of WWE in a long time.
Which is like, the whole them being edgier thing, which we're going to get to some more stuff that's going to, tell you, I'm hesitantly optimistic.
Yeah, definitely.
About going forward after hearing, the Triple H stuff and the blood. The pay-per-view is a little more edgier. Then you have this. And then, to open up the show, we had one of the biggest surprise returns maybe ever. That place went nuts, and you never would have thought this, but it was so good. Set it up a little bit. Stephanie and Vince are in the ring talking about basically how great they are, and some music hits, and the place absolutely went nuts because the heir apparent from 10 years ago, the prodigal son, returned.
Shane O'Mac is back.
Shane McMahon shows back up to save Monday Night Raw because it's piss poor. It's been piss poor.
Yeah.
And the ratings have been sucking, so they need to do something. So basically, Shane shows up, and just so you know, and you can go find this one too on YouTube, Vince was so pissed off, he dropped an F-bomb on there. We've done pretty good not dropping any of those on this show, but Vince dropped one on Monday Night Raw.
Vince did it before we did, guys.
Yeah, so that says something. Be proud. But anyway, to sum that up, Shane wants control of Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
So Vince says, all right, we'll have a match at WrestleMania. Shane says, I'm fine with that. Vince tells him his match at WrestleMania, the show of all shows, is going to be against the dead man himself, The Undertaker.
The man with one WrestleMania loss ever.
To the Beast, the Conqueror that we just talked about, Brock Lesnar. It took that man to beat this man. This phenomenon.
Yeah.
And as if that wasn't enough, Vince McMahon adds that this match will be contested inside the Hell in a Cell.
Which, if you're a longtime fan of the WWE and you know anything about The Undertaker, he has ruined lives inside inside the cell.
Go watch him versus Mankind.
Yeah.
Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, whatever you want to call him. Go watch that match. Go Hell in a Cell, Mankind versus Undertaker, and you'll understand completely. So going into so now we have that match. So going into WrestleMania, the 3 matches we have set up right now: Triple H, Roman Reigns for the heavyweight title, which has got some bad blood, and actually real blood going now. Street fight: Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, who is a beast, versus just a psychotic man who will not stop.
No,
he will beg Brock to kill him.
Yeah,
and then you have a Hell in a Cell match: Shane O'Mac versus Undertaker, and if Shane wins, he gets control of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And
it's almost one of those things, like, I always want the Undertaker to win, but it, like, something like this, I kind of want there to be some kind of fluky situation where Shane wins.
There needs,
brings back the edge.
Yeah, and from what, okay, I'll be honest, some of you guys can get pissed off at me. I am a dirt sheet watcher a little bit. Like, I will go and see what I can find out.
Yeah.
I know that for some people it ruins it. It doesn't ruin it for me necessarily. I like to see what's going to happen, just because, who can wait, really?
Yeah.
I don't like to wait for Christmas, so why would I wait when I can find other stuff out? If you read what's online, and it could be, take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to wrestling spoilers, because they could change from one minute to the next. There's been talk of, let's just say Shane pulls off the upset. There's been talk after WrestleMania that we're going back to a brand extension where Monday Night Raw has a roster, SmackDown has a roster.
That would be incredible.
Shane obviously would have control of Raw. Triple H would have control of SmackDown.
We could have the Brand Wars again.
Brand Wars could be back. Also, one of the rumors is if that does happen, Triple H may bring some of the NXT guys, some more of the NXT guys up as like an invasion thing, or to SmackDown. Which, I'm all for actually going back to the extended brand. I didn't like it for a little while, but I think it actually helps you with the roster because it gives some guys who you don't see often
gives them a little bit more exposure.
Yeah, and I've not said anything like, you're going to have the 2 different titles like we had before and all that. It's just we may have 2 different shows. We'll see what happens going forward. Like I said, it's a long time off. That's just some internet rumors. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. May not be anything to it. That's kind of your update for WWE for the week. We'll let you know what all goes on next week. But, I want to say be cautious, but I'll be honest, that was probably one of the better Raw things to happen in a long time, because it was back to the Attitude Era a little bit with, and not necessarily, some of the bad stuff in Attitude Era, but you had the actual, blood, the actual feud, and you could see it, and
it wasn't all so drawn out that it was predictable.
Well, it helped too that, like, I reckon Stephanie and Shane really do hate each other.
Yeah, apparently they do.
Apparently, from everything we read, they do hate each other. So it makes for good TV.
Yeah, it does.
So watch WWE, watch everything. Like, don't be a snob. Like, I know internet guys for wrestling are like, oh, I don't watch WWE. Watch everything. Just watch it and enjoy it. Don't be a dick.
Don't be an elitist about it.
Yeah, look, I love Ring of Honor. I love Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. I love NWA Smoky Mountain. I love whatever. New Japan. CWE, Canadian Wrestling Elite.
Yeah. That
Chase Owens, Sigma, and Jason Kincaid and all them are actually on tour up there with Colt Cabana right now. Doing that. And I think tonight's like the last night of that tour, but just watch everything and enjoy it, and you don't have to be a dick about everything and just basically judge everything. And at the same point, you don't be the elitist and like go against her. Oh, WWE sucks.
Yeah,
I hate the establishment. Like, just go support everything. Quit being a dick. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to get to WWE because that's where the big leagues are. I mean, just to be honest. But I'll get off my soapbox. We're actually going to do something new this week. This is going to be. We're going to start doing this. I don't know if it'll be every week. We might just put a new segment in every week. I don't know. But it's one of our ideas, and I'm getting ready to take a break for a second, basically, because this is what we're going to call now Justin's Metal Minute. It may go longer in a minute, but Amanda's going to talk about something he loves.
All right, yeah. This is not just going to be 1 minute. I'm just going to clarify that. But I have been a longtime metal supporter, since I was a little kid when I, first heard Metallica, and it just evolved. So I'm just going to, if you're metal fans, if you're rock fans, I'm just going to kind of bring you some news from the genre, maybe give you some of my suggestions and whatnot. So, first big news is, we had the Grammys coming up, and although typically that's not a very metal thing, and they kind of exclude that and consider us a subgenre, and we're not really a big thing. But Ghost actually took the best metal performance of the year.
Really?
Which it was a huge deal. Huge deal. They took it with their new album, Meloria, and the Grammys. They were all kind of freaked out because Ghost has this this really dark look. No one knows who's actually in the band. Their lead singer dresses like an evil pope. Like just this really dark thing, and they kind of surprised everyone and took metal performance of the year, and that was huge to me. Also, it's getting to the point to where it's becoming festival season. There's a lot of big festivals coming up. You got Rock on the Range, you got Carolina Rebellion. Someone like me, not really on the metal side, but Ghost is going to be at a couple of those festivals. They're going to be at Shaky Knees in Atlanta in May, and for me, next month, I'm going to see Amon Amarth in Charlotte. And there's going to be a lot of bands coming through right around then. Black Dahlia Murder is going back on tour. I've heard talk that Bodum's starting to go on tour again. They're apparently coming to the U.S. very soon. And probably the biggest one for me is one of my favorite bands. And you guys, if you're fans of metal music or really just music in general and you're a fan of guitar work, go check out the band Allegion. And don't spell it like Allegion. It's spelled Allegiaeon. It's really weird. They can't spell. But they're working in the studio right now. I talked to the band quite a bit. They're one of those bands that I try to connect with. I've been a fan of them since they had their very first EP out. Really, really cool guys. But they're in the studio right now. They're working on their third full album, and from the snippets that they've let me hear, it's going to be absolutely killer. And I guess the next big thing is I'm going to tell you about another band that's, metal's not really the word, but they're kind of an old school rock band. If you're a fan of Black Sabbath, if you're a fan of Deep Purple, just that sound in general, kind of the acid rock type thing, go check out Brimstone Coven. It's a band from Metal Blade Records who, really and truly, as far as metal record labels, they're killing it these days. And Brimstone's just put out a new album this year. Super, super good, super old school. If you're a fan of that kind of sludgy, old stoner rock sound, you really need to go check these guys out. And probably, I don't know, I'm just going to give you my last pick. I talked about Amon Amarth going on tour. They're doing that to support their new album, Jomsviking, which comes out next month. It's like March 26th or something. If you're a fan of Viking metal, just some hard, good metal music, really check these guys out. Their first single's already out. It's called First Kill. It's going to be it's an entire concept album, which is new to them. They're going to be talking about the Vikings from back in the mercenary days, like the original Vikings. So, it should be killer. And I guess I'll end it with talking about, a band that's been around for ages in Dream Theater, who have put out, I think, 34-song album called The Astonishing, which is, again, another concept album. Tells this huge story, and from reading interviews and listening to the guys, they said that it didn't start out as a small project. They wanted this to be a huge, full scoped out, full story thing. Kind of got this really dystopian feel to it. They're talking about a future and just metal music in general, and really and truly, this is a masterpiece. Probably my favorite album since their very first album, and I'm telling everyone to get into it. And really, I'm not trying to, if you're not a fan of metal music, that's fine. But if you are, definitely check out these bands, because you're definitely not going to be disappointed. And it's going to be something that you want to really get into if you're a fan, because it revitalized me a little bit and kind of got me into some newer bands as well.
Yeah, and Justin, I love metal music too. He's more knowledgeable about it. I will say this, one show that I would love to go to that he touched on is Rock on the Range, which is in May sometimes, and it's in Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
And if you've ever been, obviously but if you've not, and you go look at their lineups and stuff, which I've never been, I would love to go. I want to go so bad. I'm just going to tell you some of the bands that are going to be there, and some of them you probably heard of, some of you may not. But you got Butcher Babies, Machine Gun Kelly,
and to touch on Butcher Babies,
go ahead.
All female band,
all
super attractive.
Yeah,
I actually saw them at Mayhem in 2000. I don't know, when was it? I was in like 9th or 10th grade, but they put on a hell of a show. Really cool chicks.
Guy I work with, he won some tickets to see them like in Johnson City.
Really?
And he just kept going on about like how good they were and like how hot they were. Just to be honest,
they're solid.
Like they were great. Bullet for My Valentine's gonna be there. Pop Evil. Here you go for some of you older. Megadeth's gonna be there,
and they just recently put out a new album.
Yeah,
and it's again one of the best albums they've put out. Been a really good year for metal music. So far.
Yeah, you got A Day to Remember is gonna be there. Lamb of God's gonna be there.
Also supporting a new album.
Yeah, and that's they've been around for a while too, because that was back when I was younger. The first time I heard them. Now some of the bands you're gonna know. You got the Deftones are gonna be there.
Also again supporting a new album.
Yeah, they were just added actually. Now then this is what gets me excited about it, because like all these bands I'm getting ready to name, I know everybody's heard of them.
Yeah.
So like, and for me, like I'd love to see Shinedown's going to be there. Solid band.
And I saw them probably 2 months ago, and they put on a hell of a show. I've seen them twice now. They're a better live band, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, better live.
That's amazing. Here you go, Five Finger Death Punch.
Another band, saw them at Mayhem as well. Put on a hell of a show. Guys have always been really big supporters of the troops. They brought up all the troops on stage, brought up all the kids to stage during the show. Just really cool dudes.
Yeah, I'm a Five Finger Death Punch. I love them. Disturbed is going to be there.
Yeah.
Look, I love Disturbed. Like it goes back to Down with the Sickness and all that. Love Disturbed.
Have you heard the new single they put out? They did a cover of Sound of Silence.
Oh no, I love Sound. It's on my phone.
It's so good.
You need to hear it. Like it's so good.
It sent chills down my spine.
And it's not heavy.
No.
It is so somber.
No.
And like just straight up awesome. Like the moment I heard it, I had to go have it on my phone.
Yeah,
I love it.
Drummond's voice in that song is just chilling. So good.
Like it's great. Then two, like I guess it doesn't say these are the headliners, but these are two of the bigger bands. Red Hot Chili Peppers is gonna be there.
Which are just, I'd love to see them. I think that'd just be a really chilled out thing.
Like, who doesn't want to see Flea?
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing. Like, and I like some of the Chili Pepper songs. I especially like my favorite song. Like, I know it's old school, but Give It Away.
Like, I'd probably say that's up there for me. Definitely, especially in Michigan's really good. Road Tripping's really good.
Road Tripping is good. I just love the fact, when I was younger, because that was back when I was in school. Like you heard, and it was so cool to see them. Give it away now.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool to see, and plus you got Flea jumping around in his damn underwear.
Yeah.
Playing the bass like nobody's business. And then finally, and like I said, this is just a short list. There's tons more bands at this show.
Yeah, huge festival.
There's even like comedians and stuff there. I think so. But this is another guy I want to see, and I love his movies too. Rob Zombie.
I've seen Rob Zombie at the same Mayhem tour, which was just insane. But Rob Zombie, I've seen a lot of bands. I've seen Iron Maiden. I've seen Alice Cooper. I've seen, countless amounts of bands. Rob Zombie will put on the best show you've seen in your entire life. And there will be people, that go to this. Me, I was never a huge Rob Zombie fan until I saw the show.
Right.
He did songs I didn't know he did. I thought they were Rammstein songs.
Really?
Yeah. Dad was the same way, but Rob Zombie will put on the best show you've ever seen in your life, bar none.
That makes me want to go so much even more.
Yeah.
Like, my whole thing with Rob Zombie goes back to when I was younger. And I remember being like, I may have been like 12. I don't know if I was 12. I remember White Zombie. Before Rob went kind of on his own, there was White Zombie. And they were great. Like, More Human Than Human.
Thunderkiss 65.
Thunderkiss 65 are great songs. And they were supposed to be at like Viking Hall or Freedom Hall. And they just like, people were picketing, Satan's coming to town. And, I guess for some reason that just made me want to see it even more. And after that, then he kind of broke off on his own. And, Dragula and Living Dead Girl and all those.
Even some of the new stuff. The new album is kind of meh. But, as far as.
Well, the one, what was the Horses one that came out, that had that album. I can't even remember the name of it now because it was pretty bad. But I loved his movies too.
Yeah, his movies. That's bar none.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
And in his stage show, he'll put elements of that. Yeah.
And that's what one of the reasons I want to see him is for that.
Yeah.
To
finish this up, like if you're a fan of rock music, metal music in general, and you have the funds and the ability to do it before you get to the point to where you can enjoy it, go to a festival. even if you're not a fan of staying out there all day and you don't think it'll be fun, go to a festival just for the experience, because that's one of my favorite music experiences that I've ever been a part of, is seeing a festival. Because there's so much culture, there's so many people there, and it's just a really, really cool environment.
Yeah, I've not actually. You've done more than I have, because I definitely want to get to one. But we'll move on from that. Trust me, Justin's Metal Minute, whatever we're gonna call it, we'll definitely be back. Maybe next show, maybe not. I don't know, but I enjoyed it. Here, I'm probably getting ready to take a step back again, because I'm gonna let my bro over here. He's gonna vent.
All right.
Just so you know ahead of time. Here, I will set you up. We're going to talk dunk contest. And if you remember when we made predictions, my man took Aaron Gordon. I actually screwed up and took Barton, but I just wanted to be different. I didn't want to take the obvious choices. Now I'm going to turn this over and proceed to hear my man bitch for the next 5 minutes.
All right. Obviously, we didn't get to record this last week, so this is 2 weeks in the brewing. But Aaron Gordon won the dunk contest. You can't argue that with me. This dude put on one of the best dunk contest shows I've seen in forever. And, to reiterate, Zach LaVine was doing some of the same dunks and getting more points, or the same points. I mean, this dude was doing another version of whatever Aaron Gordon did, and the only different dunks he did were stuff that Aaron couldn't do. This guy was jumping from the free throw line and, did 2 dunks. Now, yeah, those are really solid dunks, really well executed, but the dude had no creativity. Stuff Aaron Gordon was doing, the under both legs over the mascot, that's one of the best dunks I've ever seen, ever.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, I think I like the dunk contest. I think it's really solid, but
I will say this. For those two, and I know, I agree with you, Aaron Gordon should have won. That was one of the better dunk contests we've had in a long time.
I agree, 100%.
Like, those two put on a show that nobody else has put on a show like that. Not two people. Like, we've had one guy shine every year a little, but not had, a back and forth. I did think Aaron Gordon should have won.
Yeah, I mean, the dude, the dunks he was doing, like I said, and they're still getting talked about. Like, the mascot dunk, that's still getting talked about.
Yeah.
This dude was doing stuff that a man his size should not have been doing.
No, it was something to watch. And, we'll see what happens this next year. But for this year, I think they saved that whole weekend with that. So it was pretty impressive. Now, going back to, 2 weeks ago, something we discussed that, nobody's really said anything, but we're going to do ours. If you had to pick 4 people, who do you think would have the best dunk contest? And we've talked about it, and he actually has 3 wrote down. I have 3 wrote down. We're going to go those. We actually have surprise 4th ones for each other. We don't know.
Yep.
So we will tell you this. The first 2 we both agreed on. We're both going to have Vince Carter in ours.
Yeah.
Because, look, I'm just going to be honest. And whoever else we put in this is going to be great. But
Vince Carter's probably going to win.
Vince Carter is the best dunker of all time until proven otherwise. Because the stuff he did, nobody can duplicate. Nobody has ever done better. Dude is insane.
Dude has bounce like no one's ever seen before.
I don't care what anybody says. Everybody wanted a Vince Carter jersey back in the day.
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't deny it. You wanted a Raptors jersey.
I've still got mine.
I didn't have one. They didn't make one for extra fat. So, sucks, man. Anyway, moving on. We both had the same number 2 guy. Look, and I'm not a huge fan, but we're both putting the airness, MJ.
Gotta respect Michael.
Respect the jump man.
I mean, we talked about some of the older guys and, kind of went back and forth, but we both agreed that the dunks that some of the older guys did were good, but no one's been able to do the dunks Michael does. No one still does.
No.
Those dunks could still win a dunk contest today.
Yeah, mad respect. Look, Spud Webb, Dominique Wilkins, great basketball players and dunkers.
Yeah.
But, the athleticism then to now, I don't know that they can do the same stuff. Still impressive. Look, Spud Webb dunking a basketball, even if he didn't do anything, is impressive.
Still just the fact that he did it.
Yeah. Great dunker. So we're not trying to take anything away from them. But as far as the old school, MJ's going to be probably as old as we're going back to. Just because some of them, you haven't seen. I mean, you hear some of the stories about, Lynn Bias or some of those older guys that, they say can jump so high. You never really seen it. So, for us, we got Vince Carter on each one of ours and MJ on each one of ours. Now, we actually have differing ones now. So, I went with somebody who's actually never even done the dunk contest. So mine's a little more out of the ordinary.
But yours is in good merit. There's a good reason for it.
Mine is because, and I don't care, hate me, you can bitch, you can throw a fit about it. I don't care because I do like him. So you know what, suck it. I want LeBron James in mine because dude is the biggest freak athlete we've ever seen in the NBA, bar none. I'm not saying he's the best player ever, so don't come jump my shit. All right, I didn't say he was the best player. All right. Let's establish
He's the
that.
best athlete.
He is the most freak athlete in the history of the NBA. Now that you can quote me on.
Yeah.
So he's going to make my dunk contest because you can say what you want. I want to see him in it and see what he can do.
Yeah. And mine's going to be another kind of towards the Vince Carter era. I'm going with a former teammate in Tracy McGrady.
They're like cousins, aren't they?
They might actually be
I
related.
think they're related somehow.
Yeah, but another phenomenal dunker. I mean, we both so far on these top three. Of course, I don't know what Pablo's surprise fourth is, but we've both gone with some older dunkers, mainly because some of the new guys are just they're good, but they're not anything that's wowing anyone. But T-Mac back in the day, he went against Vince Carter, and they were putting on shows.
Oh yeah,
these dudes were good, and so far, especially on my list, and even yours too, we've got like some of the best shooting guards, small forwards to ever play the game.
Yeah, like we don't have like any tiny guys, but we don't have any big guys.
Yeah, just all around good players. I mean, T-Mac, just the swagger and the style that he put forth, dude can dunk. Always has.
Oh yeah, T-Mac's always had that swag.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
I want you to go first.
No, I want you to go first.
I want to hear the surprise.
No, you're for it.
Yeah.
I'm the old man.
I'm going to go with my gut and what I said. Before I started, I thought about saying him, Jason Richardson.
Jason Richardson. That's not a bad pick. Jason, everybody thinks of him as just the scorer guy, but like if you go back and look at some of his videos,
dude can jam.
Like a lot.
One of the first people that started doing a lot of between the leg stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like he was ahead of his time and didn't get appreciated for what he did. Like not at all. Okay, so I've thought about this. I've thought about it a lot, and I wanted to think of something like that would be out of the ordinary, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's somebody we haven't talked about. And he's kind of a big guy, but at the same time he's not. But I think with his frame, and it's somebody we didn't even bring up. With his frame, and you put him with Vince Carter, MJ, and LeBron, I want to see him. And like you're a fan, and like I'm not necessarily. I want to see the Slim Reaper. I want to see Kevin Durant.
That would be interesting.
Kevin Durant, look, I know he's like 6'11", or 6'10", whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's so long, but he's so long and so good. Like I want to see what can. Okay, I feel pretty confident they could put something on top of the backboard. That man could reach up there, grab it, and dunk the basketball.
Oh yeah.
Like I want to see that stuff. Like I want to see, to me, I didn't put Kobe. I started to put Kobe.
I thought about Kobe as well.
And if I took Vince Carter off of there. As not, it's kind of unfair because to me, Vince Carter's going to win. Vince Carter's going to win any dunk contest he's in. I feel pretty confident about it. But if you took Vince Carter out, my fourth would have been Kobe.
Yeah, probably same.
Because if you take I want to see MJ, LeBron, Durant, Kobe, arguably the four best players in the last however long.
Oh yeah.
Till now, I mean, obviously now Steph Curry's kind of changing the whole game from dunking to
the man just can't dunk.
I can shoot from half court and make it every time. But that's our 4 or 5, whatever you want to say. Either way, it definitely be a hell of a show.
And back to the Kevin Durant thing, I don't know if any hardcore basketball fans out there, I'm sure you've seen this. When the NBA went on strike there for a while, the Drew League stuff.
Yes.
The stuff him and Braun were doing in games, they put on dunk contests even then. I mean, I like the pick.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you watch some of the, practice tapes, they'll show practice tapes of LeBron and Durant, and LeBron's throwing it from bouncing it off one wall to bouncing in front of the rim, and he's going up and tomahawking it over the head, and just crazy stuff that I know it'll never happen. Like they won't do the dunk contest, Durant or LeBron. Yeah, they're not going to do the dunk contest. Everybody can fuss about it every year. I'd love to see it. I'd die to see it. It'd be one time I'd never miss a dunk contest, but they're not going to. It's not worth it to them. But in our hypothetical dream situation,
this works.
Anything else on basketball right now?
I mean, we talked about the 3-point contest. We both agreed.
Yeah, we talked about what would be our top 4 like all-time 3-point contest one. And we actually not even talking about it beforehand. We just started naming the 4. We were straight across the board. You know, Steph Curry's in it.
Yep.
Larry Bird's in it.
Yep.
Reggie Miller's in it.
Yep.
And Ray Allen's in it.
Yep.
That's our 4.
And what do we say? Curry or Bird wins. But if you have the variable that Spike Lee follows...
Spike Lee can follow Reggie Miller from station to station, Reggie Miller doesn't miss and wins the whole thing.
Yep.
Boom. Sold. All right. So, last thing we got on the agenda for this show. We're going to plug something right now.
Uh-oh.
Here you go, guys. Look, first off, I'm going to beg you to come out and support it to begin with. This is the Tri-Cities Toy and Hobby Show that we kind of talked about, 2 weeks ago. It's at the Gray Fairgrounds, the Appalachian Fairgrounds in Gray, Tennessee. Saturday. It's March the 5th, this Saturday. I think it starts 8 or 9 o'clock. You can probably go to Facebook. Go to Facebook, look up Tri-Cities Toy and Hobby Show. And what it is I think it's $5 per person to get in. Certain age group of kids get in for free. But all the money that people come and pay the $5 to get in, and the money that I think we pay as the vendors and stuff that are coming to sell stuff, goes to the Children's Miracle Network. So even if you're not interested in some of the stuff that we're going to tell you about here in a minute, it's to help out a good cause. I mean, if you got kids like I do, the worst thing you can think about is one of your kids being in a hospital with some kind of disease or something wrong with them, and you feeling helpless. And Children's Miracle Network does a lot of stuff to help out kids, and it's just a good cause. Like, I'm not like huge, like everybody needs to give charity, all this stuff all the time, but when it comes to kids, like, you got no excuse.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
But so I've done this thing for 2 years. To give you a little bit of heads up, like kind of the stuff there. I know we kind of hit on it before, but we'll go a little more into detail this time. And like I said, it could be some different stuff. Like, some of the guys will bring different things each year. But you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to have comic books are definitely going to be there.
Yep.
And like when I say comic books, I'm talking like old comic books, like the like penny, 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, all the way up to like the newer ones.
Yeah.
And you'll have them range from cheap ones to graded expensive ones.
Yeah.
Anything you kind of want. If you're into comic books, you definitely need to come check it out. Because there will definitely be comic books there from somebody. Most of the time, it's multiple people will have stuff there. There will be definitely some action figures of some sort, from superheroes to just kind of whatever. Like I said, I don't know exactly what everybody's bringing because they change it, but you can pretty much bank on. There's gonna be action figures from superheroes, TV shows, just whatever. Really, I mean, whatever you're into. Statues, toys. Like, I know a lot of people have toys, vintage toys, like old school toys that are older than like me, older than like my parents. I mean, stuff that like it amazes you just to see. Yeah. Not necessarily even if you're interested, but it's worth it to come out and see. Like, this toy was made in 1930. It's crazy like how it was built. Like, it's all metal and stuff like that. But it's really cool to come see. They usually, they'll have video game stuff sometimes. Like, it's no guarantee, but, like I said, just come out anyway. Like, I promise you there will be something there you'll like. Like, they're even, like, the bathroom fitters is setting up a table to where they'll build you up. Like, they'll show you, like, they're going to have a table or whatever. Like, just come out. Like I said, it's at the Great Fairground, March the 5th. And so, we're going to tell you a little bit. Like, Justin's going to be with me at a table. Yeah. And so, I'm going to try and entice some of y'all to come out. Obviously, you know me, I do have a lot of the sports stuff. Like, I got cards, and when I say cards, I got jersey cards, autographed cards, LeBron rookies, Derek Jeter rookies, and some of them are graded. Johnny Manziel jersey or glove, piece of his glove card. Babe Ruth cards, Lou Gehrig cards. Just, you can name
pretty much anything you would want.
Wrestling cards, like I got Shawn Michaels printing plate. Yeah. It's a 1-of-1. It's the only one in the world from one of the sets. Randy Orton one like that. Just, anything you can think of, I'll probably have something you can figure out you want. but kind of something that's going to be a little different. I've always had like a few wrestling figures, and I've still got autographed pictures, which I'm going to tell you about some of the autographed pictures, because most of them were sports and wrestling before, which I still have some of those. So if you're into sports and wrestling stuff, especially the sports stuff, because I'm not going to get into a whole lot more detail about the sports stuff. You know, I will say a couple of newer things that I do have in for the sports is Ray Allen autograph picture. RG3, I know, you know, things didn't work out real well in Washington, but, you know, he's still, I'm telling you, I think whoever lands him may get a steal.
Yeah, I think so as well.
But, you know, got another picture of him. One of the cool things, I got the bottom piece to a seat from Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
Yep. That
is autographed by, I think it's Bob Willie. Let's see, what else do I have sports-wise? The cool thing, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the Mike Tyson stuff.
And it's it's sports, but it's also the video game thing. It's a pretty big picture, and it's got the cool cardboard cutout around it. It says Mike Tyson Punch Out, and it's got the picture from the game, the old video game, Mike Tyson Punch Out. And it's referee holding Tyson's hand up, TKO, and it actually says it's actually autographed by Mike Tyson. And all my stuff basically, and I'll tell you if it's not, but basically everything I'm going to tell you about is authenticated through like good places. It's nothing shady. I mean, I have a few things that maybe I don't have certificates for, but I'll tell you ahead of time, and most times those will be cheaper. Also, it's kind of sports, the Tony Hawk thing.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sports, but it's also just kind of one of those.
Just a really cool novel.
Really cool novel. Got them. Actually got it's an 8x10 of. It's got Tony Hawk when he made an appearance on the Simpsons show with Homer, and they're up, you know, skateboarding, doing some tricks in the air. And it's Homer and Tony Hawk, and I actually have it, and it's autographed by Tony Hawk too. So definitely, you know, one of the cool. Like I thought it was pretty cool. You know, it's the Simpsons. Who doesn't love the Simpsons? Plus it's bar none, the greatest skateboarder of all time.
Yeah.
And to have it autographed by Tony Hawk, I mean,
I freaked out when I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing cool. I love it. I actually have a brick, and it comes with its own like little case that says on it. It's a brick from Fenway Park. It's authenticated and stuff. So yeah, any Red Sox fans or any just baseball fan, like who doesn't want a brick from one
Fenway,
of the most
iconic stadiums.
The iconic stadium of like if you hear Green Monster, you hear Fenway. Like everybody knows what that is. My wife, who doesn't know anything, like knows what Fenway is.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of sports stuff, autograph pictures. Moving on to the sports stuff though, because I decided, you know, this year I'm gonna have the sports stuff because that's always been my passion that I always had before was collecting sports stuff. Now it's kind of
evolved.
Yeah, I would think because I'll collect sports stuff still, and I'll have sports stuff there. But I kind of wanted to have some different stuff this year too. So I would say I probably have 30 to 40 pop figures. If you know what pop figures are, they're the new little vinyl looking things. All of them are in boxes and stuff, and some of them are rare, some of them are normal ones. You know, everything from wrestling guys to The Crow to, you know, just superheroes. I have some bigger, like, Walking Dead ones. Just whatever. You know, I got some pop figures. I got some new wrestling figures. Macho Man, DDP. These are the elite versions, too, so these are the really nice ones. I got some Game of Thrones figures this year. I actually, here you go, and I know y'all are gonna kill me, especially any of y'all kind of Star Wars people. I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars. That's just because I've never really watched it. I know. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I do have a like 3 foot tall Yoda,
which is incredible,
and a like 2 foot tall Darth Vader,
also incredible.
So you know I got some unique stuff. Then I also have I have a Skeletor. These were limited edition Skeletor ones, and actually one of them is like a rainbow colored one. It's limited to like 1,000. I got another one that's like gold. It's limited to, there was only 600 of these. So these are kind of rare Skeletor figures that are pretty good, decent size. But they're pretty nice. Like I like them. Definitely if you're a fan of He-Man, Masters of the Universe, stuff like that, you definitely want to come check it out. And like I said, there will be plenty of tables there that have a lot of other same stuff too. Like maybe not the exact same items, but same genre, same stuff like that. Probably the biggest difference this year that I've tried to do a little more. Last year I had like one thing really, but Justin and me both kind of have like a big similar interest, and we love horror movies.
Yeah, huge horror buffs, and the two things that we have.
Well, we actually got a few.
Yeah, we do.
We have the one thing I have from last year. I have it's a plastic machete.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Friday the 13th like machete that is autographed by Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees in a couple of different movies. I can't remember all of them, but definitely like it's a cool item. It's authenticated and everything. But some of the newer things are like really cool. Like I got a Jason figure that is like Justin loves it.
Yeah.
And also if you're like my Facebook friend, you saw one of the other cool things that Justin's all over right now. It's like a 16 by 20, kind of like the movie poster. That's what it looks like. Of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it is autographed by Gunnar Hansen, who was the first Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacres. And so, like,
you might have to fight me for that.
Like, if it makes it there, we'll be lucky.
Unless someone super outbids me, you will fight me for that thing.
So yeah, then there's we actually have two different kinds. One of them's a picture from like just a different thing. It's Ari Lemon, who played the first Jason in the Friday the 13th movies, and I actually have two of those. I got one that's just a picture of Jason's mask and stuff and knife, I think. And the other one, which I think is awesome, is like the old school movie poster. Yep. It's like I think it's like 11 by 17 or something like that. It's pretty cool looking. Like it legitimately looks like the old school poster, and it's autographed by him. And he signed them like Jason Never Dies or all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. Also,
the heavy hitter.
And there may be a few more things. Like I'm watching a few more things right now that I may end up with. So we'll see. There could be a few more surprises. Probably the coolest thing. Well, I don't know if it's the coolest thing, but it's up there.
It's definitely up there.
It's way up there, and it's gonna probably like if you bring a little kid, it may scare them.
Yeah.
Because hopefully we'll have like a little plastic mannequin head or something, styrofoam to put it on. We have a Exorcist. The famous movie, The Exorcist. Great movie, huge, iconic movie. Like one of the scariest movies that's not really gory or nothing like that. It's just straight up scary.
Yeah.
I actually have a Exorcist, the mask of the girl in the movie, that is autographed by Linda Blair, that played the little girl in the movie The Exorcist, and it says Linda Blair, Sweet Dreams,
which is just really eerie on its own.
And like the mask, like no kidding, like seriously. And this is not me trying to get you to come out and buy it, because, whatever. If I sell stuff, I sell stuff. If not, then we're going to have fun sitting there and all that. But it's it's so cool, and, like, it's so scary.
Yeah.
Like, if you do come by this, I would not have it sitting somewhere where it could scare me at night, because it definitely will. But, I mean, we'll have other stuff. Like I said, I can't even remember everything we're going to have.
Like, it's going to be a good time, though.
But yeah, come out, support everything, buy stuff, and you don't even have to buy nothing from us. Just come out and see what everybody's got, because everybody's trying to put on the show and show stuff they got, and it helps out a good cause. So you definitely need to come out to that. And we'll let you know how all that goes, because we'll do a podcast, probably somewhere either before it or after it, depending on what happens. I know we got a few things going on next week, so we'll see what happens. But definitely, please come out. Come holler at us.
Yeah, come say hey.
Yeah, come say hey. We actually have been listening to the podcast, and I won't promise you you'll get something for free, but you're liable to if you come tell us like, hey, I've been listening to y'all. We'll figure something out. So with that, I guess we're gonna start closing up. I gotta do something here. I'll tell you something. We had a request.
We had a request for something?
Kinda. I have to give a shout out.
Oh,
he wanted a shout out. Our boy that sits with us at the shows, Fred Dorton from Big Stone Gap, he's cool. He always wound up kind of get some seats saved for us sometimes. So he usually sits with us, him and his son. Fred told me, he said, hey, give a man a shout out. So here you go, Fred. If you're listening, you made it this far, I made you work for it. So here's your shout out. What's up, Fred? Thank you for listening. We'll definitely holler at you. See you at the next show if nothing else. But there was a shout out for Fred. See, if you come talk to us or say something to us, look, we will. I won't say we'll make you famous, but you'll get your 15 minutes of fame.
You will.
That's the guaranteed. But you got anything else?
I want to shout out Audacity for making this podcast possible.
Yes,
this is not paid for. I just feel the need to shout that out.
Yeah. I'll throw out another shout out. I would like to shout out to my wife, my kids, and my dogs and cats for being relatively quiet for us.
Yeah, that is
like,
really
you don't
true.
understand. I have 3 cats, 3 dogs, a 6-year-old girl, and a wife who's ready to go to bed right now.
Yeah.
And they're handling this way better than they should.
Yeah, I would be super mad right now if I slept.
Right. So we're gonna get off here. Probably hang out some more at the house, but
yeah,
we may say some things you don't need to hear.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We've got things to talk about. But thanks, guys.
Peace.